What's going on, you fools? This is going to be a nice, quick, easy guide to learn Sky Strikers in very easy terms that anybody can understand. So if you want the basics, this is for you. If you want a difficult, what is the best combo play, what are all the 25 combos I can learn, then sorry, this one's not going to be for you. I'm literally just going to teach you guys the basics here. Now, let's get right into it. This is going to be your primary deck list right here with all your core cards that you need. The next 14 cards for this deck, go ahead and fill them out with any staples that you have, preferably some spell staples that you have, like Raigeki and stuff like that, because Sky Strikers are all about spells in the grave. And the extra deck, these are going to be your core extra deck cards. I'll go over them later exactly if you can't tell just from the picture. But you can add the other three that you need. You can add a third Shizuku if you want, but I don't have that, so we'll just have what we have right now. And let's go over by card real quick. So, to start off, Effect Veiler. Make sure you have at least 2 Effect Veiler, please. There's some crazy combos, which we'll go into very briefly later on with Effect Veiler, and also it's just a good card. So make sure you got 2 Effect Veilers. Effect Veilers just negate your opponent's effect, and is used to bring out Access Code Talker, basically. Sky Striker Ace Rain right here. This girl right here basically is used to Link Summon. That's basically all you need to know with her. When a Link monster is killed, she comes back out and Link summons again. That's basically all you need to know with her. Sky Striker Ace Rose, all you need to know with her is when a Link monster is summoned, when any Sky Striker monster is summoned, you can bring out Rose to bring out a Link summon too, basically, is what you need to know about that one. Alright, now let's get into the spell cards right here. The spell cards, what do we do with these spell cards? Well, this is where it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but we'll try to keep it nice and basic by explaining it in as easy way as terms as I can have. Sky Striker cards have 2 different effects, a main effect and a secondary effect when you have 3 spell cards in the graveyard. So how are we going to get 3 spell cards in the graveyard? Well, that's where you add your other cards right here, like Upstart Goblin, Raigeki, all those other cards, Twin Twisters. You can have those in the grave, and also these cards can get in the grave as well, but you're just going to have only the primary effect for them. So, what does this card do? Basically, think of it as a search and a Pot of Greed. Primary effect will be search, secondary effect is a Pot of Greed, draw 1 card. So half a Pot of Greed. So again, the primary effect activates no matter what, so the search will activate no matter what. The secondary effect of drawing only activates if there's 3 spells in the grave, which is why I would recommend the 3 Upstart Goblins, but only if you love this deck, because, like I said, 3 Upstart Goblins are kind of expensive, so that's why we just have the core right here, and whatever other spells work for you, work for you. Like, even Book of Moon's fine. Now, this red one right here, what does this look like? This looks like an explosion to me. So what do you think it does? It kills things. Primary effect, destroy a monster. Secondary effect, destroy a spell. Now, this one right next to it says jar. I can't read the rest of it. Jamming waves. What does that sound like? Sounds like it's jamming something. So it destroys a spell and then destroys a monster. Complete opposite of this big red one. So remember, primary effect, destroy a spell. Secondary effect, destroy a monster. Now this one right here, the one that looks like a claw, you equip that onto a monster and it will allow it to have 2 attacks. However, it cannot attack directly. And then its secondary effect is if it destroys a monster, you draw. So that's a pretty good card too. Now, Sky Striker Airspace does not have a secondary effect that requires 3 spell cards, so let's skip that one for now. Skip this one as well, because it's the same thing. Now, Mecha Hornet right here, primary effect, summon a token. Secondary effect, summon a token with 1,500 attack and defense. Wow, what a big upgrade. Sky Striker Mecha, what does that say? Mecha Widow Anchor. Basically, it looks like a little no, what's it called? What's it called? The hook claw, something like that? The grappling claw? The thing that Link uses, I can't remember the name, but that thing, basically, it negates a monster's effect, and if you have 3 spell cards in the grave, then it will yoink that monster, and it will become yours until the end phase. So this one right here, Sky Striker Eagle Booster, it will make 1 face-up monster on the field unaffected by card effects this turn, except for its own, and if there's 3 or more in the grave, then the secondary effect will be it also cannot be destroyed by battle. Now, Mecha Shark right here, with one that looks like he's blasting something, is literally just a DD Crow. It just banishes a card in the grave, but if there's 3 or more in the cards in the graveyard, instead of sending that card to the banished card zone, you will also be able to special summon it to your field, but that monster cannot attack. So basically, primary effect, DD Crow, secondary effect, Monster Reborn. But a Monster Reborn that does not allow you to attack with it. Keep that in mind. Don't mess that up. So why are you going to want to use this? You're going to want to use that probably for a Link summon into one of your higher ones, or as a DD Crow. Now let's get into the Link monsters. This one right here is the best one. It brings any of your spell cards, your Sky Striker spells, from the graveyard back into your hand. Unfortunately, it's only limited to one. You're probably going to want to get mobile engaged so you can get extra draws and searches. Sky Striker H Shizuku. We're going to say blue, green, and yellow for these cards specifically, just to make it easy. The blue one right here is going to be your primary one that you use more often than the others. On turn 1, you're going to summon your Ray, link off into Shizuku, and pass. That's pretty much your turn 1. Other than that, you're going to be using all your other spells and traps that you played. What does this do? During your end phase that this card was special summoned, you can add one Sky Striker spell from your deck to your hand that has a different name than one in the grave. That's a key thing to remember. Make sure that the spell that you want to search is not already in the grave, because you're going to have to get a different one. This green one directly attacks your opponent, and then you can send a Sky Striker spell to the graveyard. This yellow one will prevent an opponent from attacking. So it will prevent a single monster from attacking. Christian Helpkey Fibrax will special summon a tuner, and then you will link summon with that tuner right away, basically to bring out Celine. Sky Striker Ace Zeke, when it's summoned, will allow you to banish an opponent's monster until the end phase. Celine basically brings out Effect Veiler and then summons in to Access Code Talker. And Access Code Talker pops everything on the field. And now let's go back to the 2 cards that I skipped earlier. Sky Striker Airspace. Sky Striker Airspace lets you target a card on your field, send that to the graveyard, and then pick up the top 3 cards of your deck, search for a Sky Striker card. If you find one, cool, add that to your hand. If not, shuffle your deck and put those 3 cards back. And then, why I skipped it is because it doesn't have a secondary effect that requires 3 cards in the graveyard. It just has a secondary effect. So the secondary effect for this one is if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Sky Striker from your deck to the field. So you can special summon one Sky Striker Ace monster from your deck. And you can only use that once per turn. Now, Sky Striker Mecha Module. I saved the best for last. This card right here is probably the most important one out of all of them. This one right here is, first of all, send a card. You can target one of your own cards again and send it to the graveyard. And in turn, now your opponent can no longer chain to any of your spells, which means the combo for this most of the time is going to be Sky Striker Mecha Module thing. Use that on your field spell, which is that Airspace one. Send the Airspace to the grave. Then the Airspace will allow you to special summon a monster. And then for the rest of the turn, you can go ahead and use all the rest of your spells. So you could pop a monster. You could pop a spell. You could negate an effect and yoink them, and they can't do anything about it. So that's pretty good right here. And the secondary effect that, remember, again, does not require multiple cards in the grave. The secondary effect for this one will allow you to use all of the spells that are in your grave a second time. However, only while this card's face up on the field. So let's go over that again. While this card's face up on the field, any Sky Striker cards that you use afterwards, spell cards specifically, will be basically tallied up. And then at the end of the turn, the same number of cards that this card was on the field for, you can add from your grave back to your field, face down, and then after they're used a second time, they're banished. And there, that basically goes over everything that you need to know about all the cards. So now you have all the basics down of all the cards. Now let's go over a very, very, very quick combo on how we do a simple turn 1 for Sky Strikers. So, say this is going to be your basic starting hand right here. With this one, you can go ahead and just normal summon any of your Sky Striker monsters. We didn't start off with the other Sky Striker, so we can use Rose. Not a big deal. We start off with Rose. Then we link Rose off, send Rose to the grave, and then bring out the blue one, as we said before. The blue one, once it's special summoned, does nothing. But once you end your turn, then your little blue one right here can search a spell. So you go ahead and start searching, and you can get whatever you want. more often than not, you're probably going to want to add your engage. So we'll add our engage. And now let's just say this was our second turn. Second turn, we'll go ahead and use our engage over here. And then we're going to get searching. So now we're going to probably want to grab our rain right here. So now we're going to go ahead and add our rain to our hand. Sorry, I didn't mean to special summon that. We'll add it to our hand. And then we'll send this to the grave. Now then, we'll normal summon our rain right here. And now we've got two, actually no, sorry, we don't summon that rain. Get that rain out of here. So that's your basic turn one right there. Your basic turn one is going to be Shizuku, and then bring out Sky Striker Mobile Engage. Now, your second basic combo that you have to learn with this deck is, believe it or not, normal summon Effect Veiler. It just has to be a tuner monster. So, two monsters on the field, one of them being a tuner, brings out Crystron Halki Fibrax. So we send those other two to the grave. Now, Crystron Halki Fibrax, we'll go ahead and search another tuner, which will be another Effect Veiler, which I don't have in the deck right now, so this is why I said we need 3 of them. So imagine this Effect Veiler is in the grave. It's kind of scuffed, but remember, this is a guide for fools. So, again, Crystron Halki Fibrax, we'll go ahead and special summon out a tuner synchro monster. We'll go ahead and special summon 1 level 3 or lower tuner monster from your hand or deck in defense position. And then we'll go ahead and send them to the grave again. So we'll send them both to the grave. And then we will bring out the Selene. Then the Selene, when it's link summon, will play spell counters. You'll remove the 3 spell counters and special summon 1 spellcaster monster from your hand or your graveyard. So we will bring back the Effect Veiler. And then with the Effect Veiler and the Selene, we will send those both to the graveyard. We'll bring out our big boy, the Access Code Talker. The Access Code Talker, we'll just do Access Code Talker things. We'll banish the, or I don't think it banishes. I think it just targets. It targets. You could target 1 link monster. Yep. So you target the link monster that was used, which is Selene, and then it gains attack. It gains 3,000 attack. It gains 1,000 equal to the link rating. So that's bam, 5,300 on that thing. And then you can go ahead and start banishing all of these extra monsters right here. All these link summon monsters. And then you could destroy 1 monster, 1 spell card each for each of those. And that's basically the combo you're going to want to do to end out any of your games, guys. So there you have it. That's basically the basics on how you play Sky Strikers. A little bit longer of a video than I planned, but I hope you guys learned at least the basics. A small little combo. It was a little bit scuffed, but I hope you guys didn't mind too much. And I hope you guys enjoyed playing Sky Strikers. See you guys in the next one.